Welcome back to the channel. Today I've got a video I've been super excited to make for you guys talking about retargeting and content strategies. And this has been an awesome improvement to our campaigns that we've made recently here at Amplified Advisors. And I think it's something that if you are running ads or if you're starting to run ads, looking to explore and running ads to acquire clients through paid acquisition is something that's going to change advertising for you and open your eyes to how it really works and what can be really accomplished with it. So I'll preface with ads theory. And the reason I want to preface with this is because a lot of times when you're trying to dabble in running ads, you tend to look at it very analytically and you look at the back end and you don't really think about what is the user experience when scrolling through ads, right? And it's hard because a lot of times we want to focus on metrics and numbers and all of these quantitative things. But at the end of the day, marketing is just social engagement. It's content, it's building beliefs, it's breaking certain beliefs and helping people buy into your processes. And so when you're scrolling social media, I want you to think about when you see an ad, what that does to you. Oftentimes you see an ad one time and it might be interesting to you. There's a small chance that you might just click through and just go and opt in through that ad and do everything it tells you to do, right? On that first glance. But a lot of times you see it and you go, interesting. You scroll. You're not ready to take action. Well, what often happens, at least for things that you have ended up purchasing or that you have gone through in services you've utilized, you typically see another ad, or maybe you see that same ad again and you might watch it, you might read a little bit, you might actually click to the link page, you might actually explore the page this time, but you end up just Xing out and going back. And then maybe a couple days later, you're back on and you see another ad. And this has been shown in studies. I believe it's 7 times is the average number of times someone has to engage with your business, your company, before they actually take an action to just speak with you. And so what happens a lot of times is people will go and throw up this ad campaign and they'll put one ad up and they'll let it run and they'll hope that that just gets everyone. And they think that people are going to see this ad, see it once, click through and go through and just fill out the entire application, book in and become a client. Chances are that's not going to happen. And so what we've been doing is utilizing strategies to build propaganda or make people feel as if you are their friend on social media. This is extremely important in the advisory industry because this is an industry built on relationship and trust. And so, you know, my take on lead vending and third party kind of systems for those things. But really the big thing here is going to be indoctrinating people with our beliefs, everything that we want them to think about. I'm going to visualize this for you. So when you're running an ad campaign, you're going to always have your main campaign, we'll call it. And this is going to be the initial campaign you set up with your ads to a cold audience. And it's going to be very much direct response, getting them to maybe go to the next page, go to watch a video, go to click to a webinar, calendar, whatever it is. And when you think about it this way, when you're running ads, you have a audience. You have this audience of people. This is going to be your target audience. Now, you might have slimmed this down through, say, demographics, right? So this is, we'll say, the big audience of the world. Maybe we slimmed it down to this smaller subset of people because we added some filters, we're kind of qualifying people. Now this is our total audience size. And maybe we ended up slimming it down a little bit based on just our pixel data obviously getting a little bit better. So you might end up with an audience size this big. And now on my iPad, it probably looks extremely small, but we're assuming this is still millions of people. Out of this millions of people, there might be this little pocket right here. This is your qualified people, the people in green. This little pocket right here that will take immediate action. These are going to be the people that'll see your ad maybe 1-2 times, click through, show up on your calendar. Great. Well, how do we address hitting the rest of this giant audience pool? Well, us throwing more money at the campaign isn't going to do anything because we've already gotten the people here that we're actually going to convert. So no amount of money is going to get these people to change. They're on the fence. So what we can do instead is create warmer audiences and retarget. And I'll explain that, but maybe I want to start by explaining this. There's going to be a spectrum of people who are willing to work with you or become your clients. On the one hand, you're going to have the people who who we just talked about, we'll call these the green people. They're going to come in, and it's probably going to be a pretty small subset that are going to come in and they are just going to take action. They're going to show up to the appointment. Not saying they're necessarily going to close, but they are interested. They're just clickers. They go through. Well, then you have the people over here who are unqualified or maybe just absolutely hate advisors and there's no chance they will ever work with them. Well, then you have this entire audience of people who maybe aren't bought into you 100%, but they're not opposed, but they're also a little skeptical. They're not just going to take action off of one ad that you threw up. Well, how do we get these people? Because this is really where we're going to make the money and get a high ROI. Well, what we can do is through this main campaign, this is where the majority of our budget is going to go. So we're going to say the $3 signs here, or we'll say 4. All of our money is going to go into this main ad campaign. And so maybe our cost per conversion, our cost per appointment, our cost per acquisition in this cold audience funnel is mediocre. It's not the greatest ROI, but it's solid. We're getting a decent ROI and things are going okay. Well, how do we really drive that growth and really the outsized returns? Well, we know that there's a certain amount of people who will obviously convert here, and these are the people that we're capturing here, but how are we going to get all of these people? Let's go back to this targeting. So we have a large audience pool of people here. These people in green, just because they didn't convert doesn't mean they weren't engaging and interested. Now, what happens though is most people will just throw up this one campaign and they'll leave it at that. They'll say, well, I guess we can only get this metric or achieve these results because we're only converting at this rate because they're only getting this small little subset here. But instead, what we've been focusing on is creating multiple targeting campaigns. And so let me explain this here. I'm going to redraw our audience here. This is our main pool of people. We know that they saw the main campaign. They've already seen the main campaign, but we've only converted a small amount. But what we can do is create sub pockets of these people. And basically, maybe this will be a better way to show it actually. Instead, what we can do is create more pockets of these green people, the people who are still our target audience, but they're not yet ready to buy. And what we do is we place in front of them more content, specific content. We want to focus on content of FAQs. We want to focus on content of case studies. We want to focus on unique, different ad creatives. We want to focus on their biggest concerns, the skepticisms, and all of these different videos and content. And what we do is we then run new campaigns. So we have your main campaign where your money is going. But what we do then is break it into smaller retargeting campaigns where we just throw a little bit of money. So we'll throw a little bit of money to a campaign that answers common questions and objections. And all this will be is other content of common questions and objections that these people probably have that we're going to answer through content that we put only on their feed. So we put a little bit of money into here and we only show it to these green people. The people who saw our ads, who clicked on the landing page, that watched at least a certain amount. Because what we're now doing is we're creating a warm audience. They've already seen your face, they're already slightly familiar with you because they get all of your main campaign ads, but they're just a little skeptical. So we answer their common questions and objections with one campaign. Then what we'll do is we might try different conversion mechanisms. So if we're running a main campaign that goes to a VSL, well, instead of running this campaign to a VSL, we'll go direct to calendar. And so what that does is it gives a new opportunity for conversion because some people convert differently. We'll test different landing pages because they might be more susceptible to a different landing page. And what we'll do is even just run new ads going back to this same VSL because maybe these ads will speak to them better. And what happens over time is they are being engulfed in all of these different marketing campaigns on top of this main campaign up here, to where now they are being bombarded with content, retargeting, seeing you in the feed, building that relationship, starting to trust you because we're giving value. When we do these common questions and objections, we're actually educating and providing value. You can run a lead magnet campaign where then you're giving a free resource out to them. You're doing these things that are just adding value to their lives, still running your main targeting campaign. And what you will see happen is this. Say we're targeting 1 million plus, and right now on our main campaign, we're getting a $500 cost per appointment. It's not great. Our main campaign right now, we're not hooping and hollering over our main campaign. This is what we're getting from the main campaign. Well, if we allocate that budget to retargeting and we're targeting a warm audience here, what will likely happen is they will convert at a much cheaper rate. I'm talking ridiculously cheap. So we might be getting here a $50 cost per booking, which is ridiculous. But here is the, catch. you can only spend so much on this campaign, because the way these campaigns work is they're fueled by what's put into this main campaign. So sure, you'll get $50 cost per bookings, but you're not gonna be able to just all of a sudden up your advertisement budget to $10,000 a day on these $50 cost per bookings, because unless you're then spending $1 million a month on this main campaign. Typically, it's a 10-to-1 ratio, 20-to-1 to 10-to-1, depending on how much data we have from this main campaign that we're running. Meaning, if we were spending $10,000 a month on the main campaign, we'd allocate $1,000 a month to the retargeting. So when you look at it from that perspective, say we're getting that $500 cost per appointment, we would get 20 appointments from our main campaign, and then you get an extra 20 appointments from this campaign that you were spending $1,000 on. So what ends up happening is you cut your cost per booking in half to $250 cost per booking because of these retargeting campaigns. It's going to help drastically, but you can't just, it's not a cheat code where all of a sudden I'm getting a $50 cost per booking across the border. But what that means is, even if your main campaign isn't necessarily crushing it in terms of the cost per appointment itself, with these retargeting campaigns and content strategies, you can bring that cost per booking overall down. And it doesn't matter if this is how it looked. It doesn't matter if this main campaign shows us a $500 cost per appointment in the ads manager, because what we're really doing is using our main campaign to build the data to feed to our retargeting plus content strategies, which is then going to deliver us that ROI that gives us profit out here, and then we reinvest into this main campaign. And so this takes time. Obviously, you have to build the data from the main campaign, but if you're running ads right now, and maybe you're seeing that your one campaign that you have running, or the same funnel style that you have running, is starting to either increase in cost per conversions, or you have issues there, what you need to do is set up these retargeting campaigns to build a content flywheel. At the end of the day, really what this means is that you can now drastically decrease your cost per appointment just by utilizing smarter campaign strategies. And these campaigns are at a fraction of the cost of your main campaign, but can have such a huge effect on the ROI because you're getting such a cheaper cost per conversion because you are targeting a warm audience. I just wanted to share this as something that we've been implementing across campaigns that's been working amazingly. It's obviously a different content structure than an ad. It's a little bit more of an organic approach, but it's working great. It's something, if you're running ads, you should most certainly be implementing. If you're going to run ads, plan this into your content and campaign strategy. And I hope this video provided some value and can help you more predictably bring on clients to your firm.